Hey everyone, Jody from Bird Dog Off-Road Adventures.
Evan with the Adventures of Rogers and Henderson.
Awesome, welcome you guys. Welcome back. First and foremost, friends, Bronco Adventures are on their way back to their home. They're heading back to Idaho from SEMA, so they won't be joining us tonight. Milton may pop in on us here in a little bit from Bareback Broncos, so if he does, we'll get him on in. I guess the first thing to talk about, just and then of course, Evan, we can go into whatever you want to here. But I was wanting to kind of talk to everybody about SEMA. It being my first time there.
Sure.
I think I mentioned this in my video that I posted the other day. It's definitely, if your time allows, definitely it's at least a 2, if not a 3-dayer. I mean, the event goes on for a whole week basically, but I don't know if I'd want to stay that long unless I had a vehicle like being featured or something, or if I had an exhibit or something like that, maybe.
Right.
And then I think I'd probably get tired of it there towards the end. But yeah, I mean, it's like a giant car show. But think about, you're not looking at cars necessarily, you're looking at accessories on cars. Right. So, pretty much everything you could think of, everything you've seen and know, plus a lot of stuff that you've not seen yet. At least not in person, but a lot of it you hadn't seen, period. A lot of new items are debuted there. I couldn't get over the fact that there's so many new taillight options for the Ford Bronco and headlight options. Some of the ones that we saw while I was there, are ones I never heard of before. So it was kind of interesting to see them. I didn't know they even existed. A couple of brands off the top of my head, Anzo, which I used their taillights in the 4Runner. And, they had the new headlights and taillights. There was a couple of people I never heard of that had new headlights, a few brands. You'll see them in the video. But that was pretty interesting. I don't know how much the price was on all of them because they weren't all listed. And who is it your headlights are through, Evan? Forum. Yeah, Forum Lighting. They were in the Dial Dynamics booth, and they have a new tail light there. Now they didn't have it set up to where you could see the turn or the sequential, but they had a tail light, new tail lights there. So like I said, I don't know the prices of them. They generally aren't as high. I know the new Alpha X are like $400 or $500, and I don't think they're really as high as like a lot of the headlights are because they don't require as many features.
Right.
But it was interesting. I mean, I'd assume you probably find something for any budget, any style. The Alpha X looks more like a Raptor, but a lot of them look more like the stock headlights. They were just like totally different on the inside as far as their patterns and their beams and such. So it's pretty cool. Got to see a lot of cool Ineos Grenadiers. Love those things. Those things are actually pretty nice. I'm not going to trade the Bronco in for one, so don't worry. But they're pretty nice for what they are. I mean, they're looking pretty good. If I was on the wealthier side or the more affluent side, that'd probably be the vehicle I'd get.
But continuation of the Defender 110, the original ones, anyway.
Yeah, but they actually it's funny is that there's a dealership next door to me that has them. There's like 5 on the lot. I mean, literally, when I drive out of my apartment complex, that's the first building I pass on the way to work every day. But yeah, they're pretty cool, and they had a lot of them there that's modified. Like the Bronco was a couple years ago. The Broncos were the darlings of SEMA. That's when the Evil Truck and a bunch of people had them out there. The first people that got them had them out there for display and booths, and the vendors were just throwing mods at them and such.
Right.
This year, there's still quite a few Broncos, but it was mainly Land Cruisers, Tacomas, Ineos Grenadiers, with Broncos probably being right behind them, and then Wranglers and Gladiators probably right there with them. You didn't see many 5th gen 4Runners. You didn't see, a lot of other things. So, but it's a pretty cool experience. You definitely want to take some comfortable shoes. Right. Of course, Courtney, it would be a hard thing because she hiked the Rubicon. So for her, it'd probably just be a cakewalk. But for a fat boy like me, it was pretty rough. Piles were talking to me.
She'd be walking backwards up the escalator just for the challenge.
Yeah, get that good footage. Yeah. All right. Well, here he is, boys and girls, man of all ages or children of all ages. I screwed that up totally, didn't I? Mr. Milton.
Hey, I was on the wrong link. I was like, where is everybody? And I went back to Instagram. I was like, okay, 9 o'clock. And I had the wrong link. I had an old link. So sorry about that.
No, you're fine, dude. I'm just glad to have you.
Yeah.
So, what's been going on in your neck of the woods, sir?
Getting ready to go to Turkey Bay this weekend with a couple of the Bronco groups from Central Kentucky Broncos. We're leaving Thursday night. We'll be down there. I think there's about 32 of us going right now, and we're gonna night wheel. We're gonna morning wheel Friday, night wheel Friday, and then try to ride Saturday, Friday, and Saturday night and do a cookout bonfire kind of thing. So we're just getting ready for that. Trail Hunter USA is leading that. Eric is a good friend of mine, so I'm gonna meet him down there.
Yeah, I didn't get a response from him today, so. But yeah, I saw him at SEMA. He was there. Met him like right as I was walking out.
Yeah, he was. I think he was there with Racket and Turn and all of them.
They were all right there together. That's some pretty good vehicles. They had Shelby Hall's truck there. They had a Raptor there that had that like bike graphic. I don't know how you call it. It's almost like a shark.
Yeah, that was Montley's.
Yeah, Montley.
Yeah, Montley. Yeah, they're so like if you don't know, they're like part of this entrepreneurship, and all three people are basically trying to help each other out. It's called they call themselves a coalition. So it's Turn, Montley, and Racket, and Meek Magnet. So they all kind of work together. Helping out on leads, helping out on collaborators and stuff like that. So I would love to reach out to Cole or Monica next year and see if I can get out there.
So you could basically say they're like the Dirt Therapy Live of vendors, huh?
Yeah.
Coalition.
Yeah. And then this week I built a new PC for the channel so I can start making some better videos and have better editing quality, because doing it all from my cell phone, it just takes longer. I don't have the space that I want. So I built a whole new a desktop, and I just got that done.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a beast. I'll show it to you. Move my camera here. Let's see. Well, I have to turn my background off. Hold on.
Yeah.
How do I do that?
Well, that's a nice piano in the background. Is that yours?
Yeah. So that's my grandmother's. She gave me that in the will.
Oh, nice.
How do I turn the remove from stage? No. I guess I can't turn the background screen off once I'm started, but oh well. I'll send you some pictures.
That's cool.
It's a pretty cool system. I did it all in black, no RGB.
How about you, Mr. Evan? What's going on in your world today?
Just work. We did like a bar takeover on Saturday night. Had a decent turnout. Just a little local mom and pop bar that just did like a takeover / glow party, and they had some raffles and stuff like that.
Yeah. I bet there's gonna be lots of Toys for Tots drives up in there. I know there's gonna be some down here, but I don't know the details on them yet.
There is one here, but it's the same day that we planned Friendsgiving at the Badlands for. So
nice. Awesome. But folks, if you have any questions you want to ask any of us, put them in the comments.
Is that only Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to work on Saturday. That's been booked out for days off since January. So
okay.
We have a cabin. We're gonna drive down after I get off work on Saturday, but I mean we won't get there till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock Eastern time.
Okay. Is anybody else gonna be there? Because if they are, I'll drive down Saturday because it's 3 hours for me.
I'm not sure. I know Dan's getting a cabin, but I don't know what time he's planning on heading down. It'll probably be same thing late Saturday. Last year there were some people that went and wheeled on Saturday, and they just got cabins overnight because you can do like a late checkout.
Yeah. Is the campground not open?
It is.
Okay.
We've just never. The campground is not very expensive. They have electrical plug-in if you need it, but
yeah. Well, cool.
Courtney, what are you putting on all your Christmas wish lists?
I was about to say for me, I don't really have anything on mine right now, just other than just keeping it running.
Yeah. I think I'm going to try to do some more video editing content. I'd like to actually take like a class like at the local college where you can sign up to take a few classes, and just really kind of focus on video content, how to edit it better and do B-roll and stuff like that. So if I can get that for Christmas, that'd be awesome.
What software do you use?
Well, right now I just have DaVinci Resolve. Because they say DaVinci Resolve works best with AMD. They actually have like free sync software that links back and forth. So this is an AMD chip and graphics card. So that's why I use DaVinci. What are you using?
I use Final Cut Pro.
Yeah, same here.
So you pay a subscription?
No, it was a one-time purchase price, and it's unlimited upgrades. You can have up to on 5 devices under one Apple ID.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the way mine is because I have it on my MacBook, which is what you're watching me through right now, and I also have it on my Mac Mini, which is back there behind me. So that way I can edit both at home and away.
And if you have an iPad, you can do handoff on an iPad and edit from there also. But
yes, yeah. Yeah, so that's something I need to upgrade at some point. Is an iPad. Mine's from like 4 years ago, so it doesn't have the capability to do that. But oh well.
Yeah, I mean that's why I went desktop again, because if the chip goes out, of age, that's easy as long as the motherboard can still run the new chipset. Well, the motherboard I have is running a 3 series of chipsets, so it can do a 7000, an 8000, and a 9000. So I got some room to expand in this one, if I do that. But again, like the editing software that you choose to use is different.
I'm getting to that point to where I'm gonna have to start upgrading cameras for too long. My GoPros have seen their better days. I did see GoPro was at SEMA.
Hold on a second, sorry.
That's fine. They had the new Hero 13 there, and it's a little bit improved. I don't know about the overheating issues that a lot of people face, but it does have that detachable clip, so you don't have to like unscrew the thing. That's the only reason I've been using those snap mounts, so I didn't have to unscrew that thing every time. So that is one of the new features I saw. They have a new lens. They have the max mod lens, which I already have, but they have a newer version. It's like a little bit bigger. It's supposed to make it bigger without that artifact, the way they got to describe it to me. Like in the max mod lens, it can look almost a little fisheye, but he said this totally eliminates it, giving you a lot wider field of view.
I got a really cool tack form mount. Like when I was at Bronco Palooza, I was looking at them. I got the dash stuff, but then like my GoPro overheats a lot, so I can never film in like 4K out on the trail because it just gets hot and shuts the battery down. So you're kind of limited to like that 720 1080 if you're gonna run it for a while. That and I was told it's like that 4K is used for like very short reels or very short clips. So like typically I don't use the GoPro very much. I use my cell phone, but I'm kind of looking forward to using this tack form mount this weekend.
So which GoPro do you have? Is it an older one or newer one? Or
it's like a Hero 8, I think.
Okay. Because I have the 9 and 10, and I don't have that They still overheat, but it's not quite that bad. It's usually I get at least a good. Depends on the weather too. If I'm out in the middle of the desert and it's hot as hell, and I'm not going very fast. They don't last long. But if I'm in foliage and it's like in the 80s, it can go a little bit longer.
Well, what I've also done with the TAC-Form mount is that they have that little adapter, that can screw into the bottom. So I actually have like a DJI Osmo, not the horizontal one, not the new one, but I just put that up on my dash now, and that works really well, and it's not obtrusive. So, and it has that gimbal for the stabilization where the GoPro doesn't. I mean, it has like some type of stuff built into it, but it's not as good. If you turn all those features on, then it overheats.
Yeah. That's why. So I know DJI has their own quote action camera, and I know that Insta360 just came out with one that shoots in 8K. But I don't know. I've seen tests. They don't tend to overheat quite as quick as the GoPros, but I'm not sure if there's other trade-offs.
There is. So I had one with us on the Rubicon. I had the Insta360, the one that's a detachable, like you can take the little pod out of the main camera.
Yeah.
You can clip it. It's magnetic, and then it syncs back to the main GoPro style pod. And like you can take it in and out, but the on-off button doesn't work the way that GoPro does, and it's an internal hard drive. There's no external hard drive that you can add into the thing. So you have to manually unload it from your camera onto your computer. But like you think you turn it off. So like we got to one of the obstacles where we had to winch Don's 4-door, and I thought I turned it off and come back, and next thing I know, the memory card's full because it'd been recording for 40 minutes.
Yeah, that's not good.
But like I have the 12s, the GoPro 12s, and like they can run for 30 minutes at 4K without overheating, unless they're in the media mod, like that media case. If they're out of that on the dash, they can run continuously without overheating.
Yeah. So I saw Rob's comments. Rob, where's he at? Where's he located? Is he near you, Milton?
I don't know.
Put that in the chat
just
for us, Rob.
engaging.
Yeah. Give us an idea where you're from. We don't want to just assume. Milton, you're in near Cincinnati, right?
Yeah, I'm 30 minutes north of Cincinnati.
Okay, Little Rock. So he's probably like in between all of us. Because Evan's in Chicago, and of course I'm way out here in Phoenix. But I tell you something, Rob. I wish I would have done. There's a couple of events that I didn't do when I still lived in the Midwest. One of those being the rendezvous in the Ozarks.
Well, that just happened, right?
Yeah, it usually happens, I think, around October. And, it's good. I don't know how far Little Rock is from like Badlands or the trails over in Kentucky. I'm assuming at least half a day at minimum.
It's probably a good 6 or 8 hour drive.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's pretty deep in Arkansas. You'd have to go through Missouri and possibly Kentucky to get to it.
It's a big event at S'more that a bunch of Bronco guys went to also.
Yeah, in Missouri.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to do the Ozarks next year, and then I want to do Colorado next year.
Well, if you go to Colorado, give me a heads up. I mean, I plan on going up there for the Supercell Colorado.
Yeah.
I might, if it's over a weekend, I might be able to break away and join you at least for a couple of days or something.
Okay.
Well, and that Sturgis Bronco Rally is September 26th, 27th, 28th, and 29th for next year.
Okay.
Do you know Mike? Do you know Mike Lombardi? He just moved out. He just moved out to Colorado. He's Bad Overland. He's got a pretty cool rig. It's like that charcoal gray with the RTR. I think he's sponsored by Gobi, but he was from Central Florida, and him and his fiance just moved out to Colorado, and he said he would meet us out there. So if you want to join us, Jody, that would be cool.
Yeah, just let me know when. Just give me a heads up. As long as I don't have something else going on, I'll do it. I just want to try to, as far as my calendar goes, it's just mainly just local stuff here in the Phoenix area, which this is the prime time to wheel here because the temperatures are finally, less than hell. So there's a lot of big events coming up here over the next few months. But United by Bronco registration is this Friday for anybody watching that wants to go. Of course, I think you could register. I don't think it's like Lollapalooza or anything. I don't think it's going to sell out in hours. But plan on going to it, maybe doing a couple other small events. But definitely want to do Supercell Colorado next year. But, depends on when you guys go. Now, which part of Colorado are you going to?
He said he was out by Imogene Pass.
Okay, Uri.
Yeah.
So my advice on that, having been there multiple times, I wouldn't go before mid-July because you'll run the risk of a lot of the trails still being closed from snow, depending on how much it snowed. I ran into that my last trip. Where Poughkeepsie and Black Bear were still closed, and they had just opened Imogene like the day before we got there. And some of the other trails, you could go up them like Yankee Boy, but you couldn't go to the very top because the snow still had the very top blocked off. So I don't suggest people go in mid-July or earlier because unless it's just been a dry winter. And I'll be honest with you, if you go, first time I went was the middle of August, and I think the weather was ideal. It was warm. You could wear shorts even in the peaks and everything. The only bad thing about August is school's out still and people are up there with their families, a lot more traffic and such.
Yeah, I'll probably just wind up going, if the Bronco Supercell, I'll probably just wind up going to that for like a day and then branching off and then going riding because I'm sure Mike's going to go to that.
Yeah, I mean, just talk to him and see, and you should get back to me because my game plan so far was to go because it's the weekend after Labor Day is when they have Supercell Colorado, and it's not quite that far. It's actually on the way back out, which is probably closer to Denver. My game plan was just to hit Uri on the way up and then go into Supercell, like leave out, take that whole week off between Labor Day and Supercell, and maybe drive out of here on Labor Day and spend a few days on the trails up there. Because I've been on most of them. The only ones I haven't been on the Bronco is Poughkeepsie and Black Bear, but hell, Black Bear.
I have 4 weeks of vacation for next year. I rolled over 5 days. I just went ahead and rolled over instead of taking the rest of them this year, so I could go to more Bronco events. Because Valerie's like, what are your plans for Bronco events for 2025? Because I went to 5 or 6 events this year. I put some miles on that Bronco. Went up and seen Evan, and then Kentucky and Missouri and all those places, and Blue Ridge Broncos down in North Carolina is going to have stuff. And then my buddy, we drove to North Carolina to get his Porsche with Eurowise, and that thing's pretty badass. So we've been working on that all this week, trying to get it ready. And we're building we're going to do like a storage in the back of his 958. So I'm putting that together for him.
Yeah.
But
Yawari would be a fun trip if you ever got a chance to do that.
Yep.
And then I want to try to meet up with Evan and Courtney and go somewhere this year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're fun people, let me tell you.
Who?
Is that right, Evan?
Mr. the dog was starting to paw at the chair over here.
Yeah, I was saying I was going to try to meet up with you this year. Maybe try to go out somewhere.
Yeah, I know I don't know where our big trip for next year is going to be at.
Are you going to Sturgis, you think? Or is that something still contemplating?
I don't know. I mean, she blocked it off on her calendar, but if it's if a wedding pops up, I can't tell her not to take it for.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you got to pay for them Bronco mods somehow.
Oh, you got some more? You got some more mods?
Well, it's time to focus on Courtney's, right?
You got did you buy the 7.3 swap, to go ahead and do that? It's $45,000. You got it.
Shit.
A couple of refrigerators and a couple of more overtime things, and you'd be the man.
I'd rather have portals than that 7.3.
Yeah, I saw whose white Bronco was that? That's on Instagram right now. It was on Portals, in 40s rock climbing
That's
today.
I saw it too. I can't remember who it was. It's somebody I never heard it before. And I went to Trail Militia is the one that posted it, right?
Yeah, pretty gnarly.
Yeah, it looked pretty good. I don't think
Yeah.
because I went to the guy. I followed the guy on Instagram because they put a link to his page, but he didn't have it. Maybe 4 or 5 posts, and none of them were recent. So yeah, I'd be kind of curious because he had the rock crawler kit, he had portals, and he had 40s.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
With what fenders?
I'd have to go back and look.
No fenders, they were pulled off.
Well, I think he had deletes, right?
Yeah. It looked like he took the liners out of them too, like you.
Because if you have the rock crawler coilovers and the 4-link, but you have aftermarket fenders, you can run 40s without rubbing.
Yeah, he doesn't have aftermarket fenders. It looks like he's just got deletes.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got the Beltec lift. It looks like too.
If you got portals, then that changes the game too, though.
Yeah, but I think he's got the Beltec lift. You know that big Beltec lift?
Well, so the Beltec lift is a 4-inch lift with a 3-inch spacer for everything underneath.
Yeah,
So
because when you see him going over the rock, when you see him go over the rock, you can see that front differential drop piece that they have.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it is. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just because he didn't have a skid plate on, which I think is kind of weird. But if you're going to be rock crawling, but yeah, his name is N Bronc 5. It's a sick looking rig, man. But yeah,
2-door or 4-door?
4-door.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But he's got some mega flex on that thing. At them rear tires,
it did. I saw another one on Instagram on Monday. The guy had a similar system to Evans, but it was the brand that's from Chicago that was at Bronco Palooza. They have like an Area 51 color.
Vasher design.
Yeah, he had a Vasher design one, and he had I-box suspension, and it flexed and it snapped the spring in half.
Oh yeah, I saw that too. He grenaded that strut.
Yeah.
Evan, I just sent that to you if you want to check it out later. But yeah, man, that would hurt. That would suck.
Is that a decent kit? Because I still haven't put the lower links on that I bought from Falcon because I'm planning to do one of those kits. So I mean, it was just part of the package that I got. I mean, I'll probably just wind up selling them super cheap. But I mean, are they a good company?
Well, they are. But the Vasher rear system is a 3-link kit.
Yeah.
So it basically switches it to a jointed upper and lower into one system, and then you have a 3rd link coming off the top. So I mean that's why his system has the most flex out of any Bronco system that you can get.
Does he have any issues with the drive shaft hitting the fuel tank?
I mean, not that I know of.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're talking the hold on.
Because I think some of those kits, can't you just do the front and just buy spacers for the rear?
For what?
If you're only wanting to like focus on the front end, can't you just get like spacers for the rear to where they have the same track width?
Yeah, that's a lot of spacer.
As long as it's hub centric, as long as it's torqued down right and retorqued, it should be fine though.
Well, what I'm worried about is I don't know how those Falcons are going to respond to that.
Oh yeah, you would definitely. Yeah, I'm not sure because I mean, are the Falcons? Or they got a pretty extended flex over a stock?
I don't know. I can't find any information. That's why I said I was worried. The only thing I know is they have internal bump stops built into them, you know, but I don't know that anything else.
So for the Vasher kit, you also have to. It comes with frame, different shock hoops that extend. So you have your normal coilover bucket built into the frame.
Yeah.
This one you have to weld in a shock hoop that moves it out further. But as far as matching the rear, Jody, I mean the best option is to order you can order the Ultimate 60 in whatever width you want.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because the rear that I have now, it just has that billet cap, and then the shot goes up through that frame support, and then you put a cap on top, and then it allows it to extend through the frame taller because it's a 3.5-inch lift, and then it mounts to that cap, and then it pulls it down to the frame. So it's like an additional piece.
So that's a good segue, I think, to what we could talk about is like if we had to do it over again, what would we do differently? Here's a quick view of the Vasher front end from their website.
That's the long travel, isn't it?
This is the first one it had scrolled to, so probably so. It comes with the Fox 2.5. I think you can get it in like different types of packages. You can get like extended axles, or you can get like custom ones like RCV or whatever.
Well, I'm running a 3.3. I mean, the Falcon's a 3.3. That's a 2.5.
Yeah.
So I mean, these things are beefy. Like I don't want to redo that.
Yeah. I mean, you can see right there. I know we pulled this up before. I think when Raptor Roach was on here with us, the flex on that damn thing is just ungodly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a good
I mean,
picture.
I think that's the way to go. If you're not going to front axle swap this thing, I mean, I wouldn't see myself using more flex than that, but also this is my daily, so it's not.
Yeah, if I had to do it over again, I'd probably do either a 2-door base or close to a base Sasquatch model, do a long travel kit on it like this, throw some 38s on it, get it to where you can put some 38s on it and call it a day. That or just buy a Raptor.
Well, there's also what's that place? Wicked Creations. Look at their system. They're out in Vegas.
Yeah, got Toyota on here.
Go to the Bronco ones. They were one of the first. But they have a mid travel and a long travel for the Bronco.
What's his name runs this on his what's his Fab?
Sure.
AC Fab runs this.
Oh, Oscar?
Yeah, Oscar was the first one to have this kit.
So he had the 3.5, right? There's a 7-inch or a 5-inch.
There's a 5-inch here. It's not much difference in price. Only $200 difference in price.
But go and see what it shows with it. I think they have a 7-inch also.
Per side provides 14.5 to 15 inches of impressive travel. Blah blah. So yeah, let's see if they have a 7-inch.
I mean, I don't think I would have changed.
They also do a 3-link rear, just like Vasher does.
Yeah, I wouldn't change the Bronco I have because, one, I can't change my budget and how much I make.
Yeah, but you could spend more wisely.
Yeah, but I think I have done like a ton of research. Like, I think the only money that I kind of wasted early on was with the 4-wheel part stuff. But when I got mine in at the end of 2020, like that was the only kit out. So I paid like $3,000 for that. You know what I mean? And I had that suspension. Yeah. I got 66,000 miles on mine now, and I put, I think, 45,000 miles on that suspension, like hard miles. So, I mean, I think I got my money's worth out of it for sure. I mean, it was toast when I took it off.
Yeah. Well, I got mine right at the first of 2021, like January 4th. And the first lift I put on it was because I knew there were a lot of coilover systems that were coming. People just weren't getting them out yet. Because I'd pre-ordered the Fox ones from our friends up at Attitude Performance, but they kept getting pushed back. But the first lift I got was that Zone Off-Road Adventure Series. which was a 3-inch lift, but it was mainly like spacers and stuff. It was one of those kits. It was actually a pretty good kit. The only bad thing about it was it sagged in the ass if you had any weight on it. But it fit. It held the. I was able to fit 37s on it relatively easy. I had that. And it was a good bridge, but it was like, I want to think it was like $500 for the kit, and there's about another $800 to get somebody to install it because they had to take the coilovers apart to put them on. But for a good placeholder, I guess you could say, or a good bridge suspension, until I found something I knew I wanted.
So those front control arms, this kit is $4,400 just for the front.
Looks like it. Yeah, it doesn't have a thing that breaks it.
That's not including your.
You need the 3-link. Go down.
Where you see that at?
Right there. $29.50.
Wait, move. It is a 3-link. Yep, it is a 3-link suspension upgrade.
So I mean, if you got like that, and you put another $3,000, I mean, you're gonna be like close to $10,000 to $12,000. Yeah, there's Oscar's Bronco. Just to do that in suspension parts from a fresh build.
I mean, you're talking. I mean, I can dunk my tire lower than that with the rock crawler kit, and it was $800.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying I'm not impressed with your kit, because I mean, yeah, you.
Well, I mean, I could get more out of mine if I didn't have the Icon coilovers. But again, I got those in the end of 2021. They were the only ones that were actually available.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so like within the next year or so, you'll probably be upgrading, won't you?
I don't know. I mean, they're working fine. I'll probably need upgraded CVs before anything, or a steering rack.
Or you could be like me, Evan, be out wheeling, and all of a sudden the damn things explode on you, and then you have to upgrade them.
You grenaded your upgraded ones.
What's that?
Said you upgraded you grenaded your upgraded ones.
Oh yeah, the rad flows. Yeah, that's what I mean. I thought you were talking about the icons. So you may have to upgrade the icons if you do that.
And your RCs, didn't you?
Passenger side. I got it sitting here in the garage with a rebuild kit ready to try to get it fixed back up. Just haven't got around to it yet. But I'll be honest with you guys, the driver's side's making a lot of popping noises now too. So I'm wondering if that thing's going to go at some point soon.
So I know John Carson had the admin for Central Kentucky Broncos. He had some early problems with his boots leaking grease.
Yeah, I had that too.
That's why I haven't bought them. I mean,
well,
I think it's a lot of money to be taking that chance.
Supposedly now they've got it resolved, but I mean, hell, we were on the Rubicon, and I think I was the only one there that had a non-stock axle, and that was only on one side.
I mean, honestly, for the price, you can get you can get a factory front for each side for less than $700.
Yeah,
just keep
fair.
At it.
Yeah, I thought I said it once listed for like $400 for both.
Well, I saw like $320 for one and $370 for the other, with free shipping from that one dealer. I think it's by Milton that they do wholesale pricing on all Ford factory parts. Yeah. They had a brand new 2-door frame for like $2,200.
Wow.
But I don't know. I mean, for how uninvolved they are to switch out on the trail. I mean, obviously, I beat the absolute piss out of mine.
Yeah. Well, there's people that's broken them. I mean, look at.
Well, I mean, there's people that have broken them stock, but I mean, if the worry is the CV angle, right? I mean, I think I'm putting mine under as much stress as possible with no front sway bar whatsoever.
Yeah.
I mean, but also don't send it.
That's true. Have you thought about getting limited straps on yours?
No. That's why I took the links off.
Yeah, you can still do that and have more, be like a somewhat soft compromise, I guess.
The only thing that, I mean, honestly, if I was going to switch out the coilovers to anything, I'd probably find a way to make ORIs work on there, because you can set the up travel and down travel to anywhere you want. So if you got a 14-inch stick, you can do 7 down, 7 up, or you can do 4 up, 10 down, however you want to do it. But you can change the compression rate. So like my main thing is it if I went to a different coilover without the front sway bar on and it overextended down too quickly, that would destroy something. But if you change how quickly, like if you can do a click on it and say, all right, well, I only want it to, like I'm rock crawling, right? I don't need it to unload super quick because I'm not going through the dunes. All I need is for it to slowly press that wheel down as soon as there's nothing underneath it. You can set all of that with an ORI. Then you don't need the sway bar. You don't need any of that crap. But they're 1,200. Yeah. She's a prevert.
Sorry, I'm laughing at what your wife put in the comments.
She had some dime comments last night. We were sitting here.
We don't need to get into all that.
Remember, yeah, anybody could watch this.
Everybody cover your ears.
I literally spit my drink out. I was laughing.
That's awesome.
Well, put it this way. She sneezed. And she lifted her shirt and sneezed like this. And then the phrase went something along the lines of the popular internet trend from over the summer about a hawk and a tua for herself. She's blushing over there.
Oh.
You started it.
Yeah.
The worst when you like go to sneeze in your shirt is when you have like that goober that comes out with it, and you be like fishing that thing out of there, you know. then you call it a slippery nipple.
There you go.
I may be weird. I've never sneezed in my shirt. I usually just like turn my head and sneeze towards the ground.
Yeah, I don't sneeze in my shirt either. Mainly because my neck doesn't flex that much.
Oh man, yeah. I think like, you know,
Go ahead.
Okay. No, I was just going to say, when I was at SEMA, one of the people I was talking to, they said that somebody made an offer on their truck. They were contemplating selling it, and I was just like, you know, there's part of me it's always wondered if I had to do it over again, what I would do different. You know, not that I plan on doing that. You know, I'm pretty happy with my rig, but knowing what you know now, it's kind of, you can't help but ponder. It's like, well, what would I have done differently? So I always think that's an interesting topic to hear, because, you know, we all live and learn, and we all do stuff, and we're like, oh, I probably should have done this instead.
Well, I mean, I was looking at the Land Cruiser, but the thing that I hate about it is the Land Cruiser 250, they're all turbo 4-cylinders. And yes, you can put 37s on them easy with a little bit of trimming, and you could get out there started. You know, you could get your content going pretty good right now because it's got a lot of attention. I think you could build a YouTube channel off of it very quickly, but you know, it's a turbo 4-cylinder, and I can't do it. Like sometimes I wish mine didn't have a 6-cylinder. You know, there's like every week I'm like, man, I want to go back to a V8. Those
days are soon to be gone though. Even Jeep's getting out of the V8s. So
yeah, I saw their last they called it the last edition 392, and they have it right now for 112 grand.
But you also keep in mind too, that Land Cruiser 4-cylinder turbo is not like the Bronco one. It's actually a hybrid. It puts out the torque and horsepower like their V6s do.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like the whole product line of that brand is all running that engine. So if you have catastrophic failure, like right now, mine's got the valve recall because I fell within that VIN number. And I don't know if it's just like in the back of my mind, like, am I hearing it starting to tick? You know, now because I'm more cautious and I'm looking for it. You know, I got the letter last week again saying, hey, you're supposed to be, you know, first quarter, but they're not telling me what they're going to do. Like they're not even telling me like how they're going to do the inspection. Is it an automatic engine replacement, or what are you going to do to check the valves? I don't know. It just has me a little gun shy. Like, so if I would have done something over again, maybe I would have ordered the 4-cylinder, but I don't know. Nothing about a 4-cylinder sounds fun to me. No offense to anybody that has it. I'm a V8 guy.
I don't know. I had a Tundra with a V8, and getting that thing to climb up a mountain with the factory 32-inch tires was a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And this thing, I mean, it was hauling up mountain passes all trip long, holding 80 miles an hour like nobody's business.
Mm-hmm.
The tent on the top and the extra 800 pounds in the back and the 37s and the beadlocks and it's the best motor I've ever owned besides the Z06.
Yeah.
I mean, the V8 mainly, the biggest advantage I think nowadays when compared to a turbocharged smaller motor is just the sound. You know, I think back to my old 5-liter Mustang days when I used to drag race those things, and they had those flow masters, and you have some of these guys put these cams in that had a good lick on them, and it was like heaven, you know, listening to those things run. But even like the new 5-liter Coyotes, I don't think they sound near as good as the old V8s. I think the Hemi sounds good. The 392 that's in the Jeep, I think those things sound pretty badass.
I think my problem is I just convinced myself I want a 7.3 Godzilla. It's not even a 5-liter, and it's just like because I watch Palm Beach Dyno and all them, and I work in the evenings for ID Speed Shop, so I'm still involved with like those trucks and those type of performance, and like I've always loved the trophy trucks, and again, you're right, a lot of it is the sound, but I'm craving one. So bad.
Well, think of all the content you can make and all the likes and views you get, maybe in bankruptcy court too, but
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I can get those views. I mean, like there's content that, I get sponsored stuff and I'll be like, cool, and then I'll shoot a similar video and it's got like 400 or 500 hits, and you're like, this guy's got 20,000 views, and you're like, what the heck? You're just not in the algorithm. I mean, you're rolling the dice.
That's true. I mean, I think, and I've noticed, Evan and I've talked about this a lot in recent months, how the views in general have gone down here over the last few months. And I think maybe an election that had something to do with that, but that or just where people are, as the economy's, as the world's finally officially post-COVID, good post-COVID for a couple of years, maybe people are, finding other ways of entertainment besides off-roading / overlanding. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I'm seeing the interest rates come down. I saw some 0% stuff. I mean, not on like the Ford's line, but some other brands. And the other thing is like, I think Evan, you put a down payment order in for the Scout, right?
Yeah, it was $100.
Yeah. And I was walking Frank earlier tonight, and I'm like, man, do I want to go ahead and just do the 100 and see what this thing's like?
Well, I just want to see what it looks like in person.
Right.
And if it looks cool, like not a computer rendering, I mean, you can kind of see what it looks like when it's actually ready for production.
Right.
It comes out and you see one in person and it looks nothing like how they make it look in the photos. You get your $100 back.
I think it's just going to look like the Rivian. I mean, from what I saw of the Scout, it looks like they changed a few of the lines, but to me, I feel like it's like the Rivian.
Well, I mean, they took a side-by-side of the new, because we ordered the SUV version. You put that next to like an old Scout, and man, those body lines are a dead ringer.
Oh yeah, I did see that too. Yeah, it looks pretty good.
We all saw that old Scout that I seen at SEMA. If you can make one of those look like that, sign me up.
Yeah, because you came from the 4Runner, right? Like your first experience with four-wheeling, was that with the 4Runner?
Pretty much. I mean, I've had 4-wheel drives before that, but I didn't really go off-road much of them.
Yeah. But then I feel guilty because I'm like, I'm not trading this Bronco. What are you doing? Like, I'll look at it and I'll come out of work. I'm like, that thing's pretty badass. Like, yeah, what else do I need? It does what I want.
Well, look at it this way. By the time they come out, because production's not even starting until 2027. So assuming there's no snags in the supply chain or something of that nature, you're probably looking at a 2028 model, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So that's what, a little over 3 years away now, or about 3 years away. So
yeah,
your Bronco will probably be paid off by then.
It will, but we'll see.
I mean, you got to remember at that point they offer better insurance discounts for multi-vehicles.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, my oldest daughter will be driving by then. I'll finally have a child driver in the house. So I'm trying to prepare for that. I watch all of Evan's Facebook post of the sliding off in the ditches, and I'm like, oh man, that's what I got to look forward to.
Well, that's not even the half of it.
Yeah, my mother-in-law got rear-ended Saturday night. Val and I went out for a date night, and she had just left the house. Somebody rear-ended her and took off, and the cops couldn't find him.
Yeah.
Yep. But yep. So I don't know. We might give Morgan the Bronco because by then it'll have probably, if I keep driving it the way I'm driving it now, it'll have 150,000 miles on it by the time she gets it.
Be ready for a rebuild, i.e. 7.3 liter.
Yeah, well, it might have a new engine pretty soon. It sounds like first quarter, so it might have a fresh motor in it. Who knows?
I think I read somewhere in the forums where they were saying that Ford was going to basically extend the drivetrain warranty on those that were in that range. I don't know if that's true or not. You know,
I mean, they keep sending me letters, so they know my mileage because it's hooked up to their information. I mean, like on the app, you know, they're seeing your mileage. They know when your oil changes are. They know when you have low tire pressure, when you're off-roading. You know, they know all this.
They
know
can,
when you've been.
they can run a diagnostic remotely from the dealership too.
Yeah.
They know when you've been naughty or nice too.
Yeah.
Well, Courtney asked a question here. How old is she? I joke about our youngest getting one of our Broncos for her first car.
Yeah, Morgan's 13. So I literally have 2.5 years left on my payments. So,
I mean, in Ford's defense, they're still building V8s at least.
yeah.
Trucks and Mustangs, right?
What?
Just trucks and Mustangs, right?
I mean, that's more than what Dodge is doing.
Yeah. Well,
Other trucks are going to be that Hurricane straight six.
Yeah. And Ford has limited, like you can't get a King Ranch anymore in a 5 liter. You can't get certain models in a 5 liter anymore.
yeah.
But, you know.
Well, GM still makes the V8, don't they?
2020.
Corvette.
Huh?
So GM still makes the V8, the Corvette, right?
Yeah, but it's hybrid, right?
Is it?
Isn't this D06 a hybrid? Twin turbo V6 hybrid?
I think
Oh, I
so.
don't know. I thought. Well, maybe there might be a version of it is, but I thought that the basic one was a V8, rear engine V8. I could be wrong though.
No, you're right. The regular ZL1 or ZL whatever, the regular C8 chassis is a normal V8 with 525 horsepower. But any of their top dog models are hybrid.
Yeah. No, Courtney, I would love to get my daughter if she would, you know, I do have plans to give it to her if I still have it. And I would love for her to get out and wheel it and, you know, experience that adventure and, you know, that nervousness and the drive for what we do with these things. You know, I would love for her to get out there and do it. Yeah, for sure. I'm kind of jealous of the channels out there where their daughters are out there wheeling rigs and building them.
Yeah. Well, some of those channels, they homeschool their kids and keep them out there with them the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Like lifestyle off-road or lifestyle overland and epic road trip, whatever it's called. They have the German short-haired pointer.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think they all homeschool their kids. I kind of wonder about that. Not to criticize or judge anybody, but I kind of wonder if this affects the person's social life to be that out remotely with limited interaction with people your own age. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, my kids were, you know, obviously Evan probably did too experience this, but during COVID, the kids were isolated and, you know, you could only really talk to your friends like how we are, right? So we're all in 3 different states. We're still all enjoying being with each other and seeing each other present. Yeah, obviously it's a little bit different conversations when you're side by side or you're having a drink together or whatnot, but it's also what you're providing them as how the world really is. You know, you get the fresh air, you know, the adventure, the sense of survival. You're not having everything as a convenience. You know, if you've been out camping, you know, like I do, you realize like how important a bathroom is when you get home. You know, like you could spend an hour in there and search on your cell phone. Well, when you're out in the woods with no connectivity, if you don't have Starlink, you know, you use the bathroom and you're like, okay, now what do I do? You got to find that next thing to keep you entertained, because you almost feel like a sense of isolation if you don't go out and enjoy the environment that you're in.
Courtney kept herself entertained in the bathroom on the Rubicon, praying that there wasn't a bear outside.
Yeah.
In the dark.
In the dark.
Yeah. I mean, I think my kids during COVID behaved better because they weren't imitating their friends, and, you know, they weren't on social media all the time. You know, they were doing different things, playing games, entertaining each other. And, you know, my wife was teaching them. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed being home with them.
Yeah. Cool.
So what would you change, Jody, about yours?
Well, if I had to do it all over again, I'd probably either get a 2-door base Squatch like you got and start from that, or I'd get a Raptor, be one of the two. And then say if I got the Raptor, it'd just be the bigger EBOT coils with 38s, maybe even 40s, depending on how froggy I felt.
Mike, is it ZR1 that's the hybrid? He just said the Z06 is a 5.5 liter.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I know they got different versions, but I thought the base one was a V8. But do the trucks, the heavy V8s still in their trucks?
Yeah, 6.2 liter.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, in the area you're in, like the Raptor makes sense. Like every time we have them out on the trail with us in Eastern Kentucky and whatnot, they're hitting everything. I mean, like, and it's cool if people are out there. You know, it's cool that the people that have them are like, oh, you know, it's just part of it. I'll buff the scratches out when I get home. But for me, functionally, the Raptor doesn't make sense here.
Yeah. Well, here's some of the trails are tight, but I know what you're saying, like out in an open desert. That'd probably be more like you know, like Sand Hollow. Some of those places a Raptor would really thrive at too.
Yeah.
It would be cool to have one. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not getting any younger. At some point, I'll quit trying to be Mr. Hardcore shit. You know, I'm really not. But
why? You make more money as you get older.
Dude, I'm almost 50 now. I ain't rich yet.
Almost 50.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll be spring chicken.
44 in April.
Yeah.
So now I feel like I'm having the most fun I've ever had in my life, though, because you know, getting out in the Bronco and meeting all these new people, and, you know, getting on live stuff like this and reading the comments and, you know, interacting. I mean, I think this is probably the funnest time of my life. I mean, I rode bulls when I was in college and stuff like that. I mean, that was a different environment. That was a lot of fun, but I think this is cool because you see everybody's rigs are built different, and even people who wheel a stock Bronco, not everybody wheels the stock Bronco the same, different lines and everything else.
Broken Bronco garage. Damn, you're old. You're right there with me, buddy. I remember that conversation on the Rubicon. Because he made that comment, I'm almost 50 years old or something like that. I don't know, or at least once or twice. And I thought, welcome to the club.
But I can't wait to see Evan advance. I think Evan's gonna surprise us here either within the next year or two. I think his build's gonna get pretty wild.
Yeah, we'll see. What do you think, Evan?
Anything's possible.
Yeah.
I think a Rubicon Trail got you hooked on that harder technical physical rock climbing. I mean, some of that stuff you guys were doing was, when I was watching it at home, I was like, whoa, that's gnarly. Like, if it looked that good on camera, it was bigger in person.
It looked way worse in person.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so in full disclosure, last last spring before Jody kind of, hey, we're going to do the Rubicon. Like the plan was to get flooded out 2-door somewhere where I just needed the body and the chassis. I didn't care about the motor, the transmission, none of that mattered. Try and find one of those and ship it down to Wide Open Design down in Kentucky or Tennessee and have them do a tube chassis, 2-door Bronco rock crawler build. But then he's like, hey, we're going to do the Rubicon. I'm like, well, I can't put any money into getting that project rolling if I have to get the Bronco ready. I mean, I had no intention of putting a rooftop tent on it. I mean, that just wasn't on, but I'm like, well, I'm not going to sleep on the ground. So Jody changed the course of the Bronco build like 100%.
Sounds like he's blaming me, don't you?
Well, I mean, the problem is the issue for me, what direction to ever go with it is I don't want to have to trailer it anywhere.
Yeah.
Having to trailer it is a no-go for me. So like the fact is there's not a solid axle swap front Bronco that you can drive across the country. There's plenty of builds that you can drive around the parking lot and drive them up the mountain, but they get trailered everywhere they go. Whether that's Lone Star's rig or the Delfab rig that was at SEMA year one, they get trailered everywhere they go, and that bothers the shit out of me. The same thing goes with that. I mean, as far as the 7.3 swaps go, I haven't seen one that'll drive across the country with the cruise control and the air conditioning on.
Yeah.
And that's a problem for me. So I don't know. I mean, as much as I'd love a solid front axle in the Bronco, like I want to be able to. I don't care about the goat modes because I'm always in normal when we're rock crawling anyway. And the only goat mode I actually use is sport mode for driving down the highway because that's when I get the best gas mileage.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't matter to me, but I need to be able to use the cruise control and I need to be able to listen to the freaking radio and have air conditioning. The air conditioning seems like a cat toss up now with how the Rubicon changed that, but so I don't know. Portal.
How's the Rubicon change that? What did I miss?
It started acting up on the way home. The air conditioning. We made it from Carson City, Nevada to Laramie. No, it was Greeley, Wyoming. Green River, Wyoming. Whatever. And air conditioner said, hey, I'm not going to get cold anymore. So we drove with the windows down for about an hour, and then suddenly the air conditioner started blowing ice cold again. And it worked the whole rest of the way into Laramie, and then it worked from Laramie until Des Moines, Iowa, and then said I'm not going to get cold anymore, and wasn't cold until the next day when we went to clean it out. Then it was working fine. So I don't know if there's a relay loose or what, but the air conditioning was acting up after the fact. And it's blowing cold right now, but it's hard to tell because it's like it was like 75 here the one day. It's blowing ice cold, but I don't know.
Yeah. Take it over to Brian, let his team look at it maybe.
Oh, I forgot to text him today. He said he can look at this, try and pull it up remotely.
Yeah, he was in here earlier, I thought he was here when we first started.
We saw him on Saturday night. He came out to that bar takeover and he said, yeah, just remind me on Tuesday. I'll pull it up. And then I forgot.
Yeah.
It's my fault, Brian, if you're still in here.
Yeah.
I don't know, that Ducey Ersham Trail or wherever it's called. That one looks like it would be fun, Jody.
Yeah, I think it would. You just got to get your ass back out here.
50 hours.
We should do a Dirt Therapy Live road trip where you two drive out here and I just meet you.
No, we should make you meet us somewhere and then follow us out.
Yeah.
That's just wasted gas money at that point.
Yeah.
Can't take
You can all go to Idaho.
Idaho. What's in Idaho?
There's a bunch of wheeling trails in Idaho.
We could go to Big Bend. I'd love to go to Big Bend, Texas. Try to go down the
Big Bend's a problem for me.
Why is that?
The fuel situation. You know how many gas stations there are within range of me getting to the one Jeep Badge of Honor trail that's in Big Bend and then getting back to the gas station?
Well, you were just there last year, weren't you? Visiting?
No, that was 2022. We were down there.
Okay.
And the plan was to go. We did the off rodeo. The plan was to go to Big Bend the next day and run that Jeep Badge of Honor trail. Until I realized that I don't have enough fuel.
Yeah, get you a fuel jug.
I got one.
Yeah.
It's still
I
a
need
big
more than 8 gallons.
You also have 6 more gallons than I have.
Yeah. I'll carry the fuel for you. And
Like a trailer with a gas container. Like
you said, you're anti-trailer.
I am anti-trailer, but I'm also anti-running out of fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would not be fun. Just get you got Rotopacks already. You can get one of those bigger ones, a double size one. Just mount that on the side of the rear window.
So my thought was I wanted to get if you ever see anybody like the people that haul a bunch of fishing rods, they get just a big long PVC tube.
Yeah.
Mount that along the side of the tent and then have like a nozzle so I can just put a hose down right into the fuel tank and just turn the nozzle.
Refed right into it.
Right.
There you go.
Somebody did a 2-door fuel tank relocation. They put a 20-gallon fuel cell in the back.
Yeah, I saw that. They have the rock crawler kit too, don't they?
Yeah, but that wouldn't have helped my storage situation for that road trip either.
I just wonder if you do that, does it make you more vulnerable if you smack down on a hard ass rock and that thing?
No, you get a skid plate for it. Motobuilt makes this impenetrable skid tank for their fuel tank relocations.
Hell, if I can't get my shit figured out, that may be the way I have to go at some point.
You could put a 2-door gas tank in it.
Yeah, that's true.
I think this year, if I can, like, I'd rather go out and do more trips than kind of putting more parts online. But I really kind of been looking at the swing out tires, like getting the tire off the gate.
Yeah. Well, my favorite bumper in that regard is the Expedition one. It's the one that APG uses on theirs.
Mm-hmm.
I saw one at SEMA, and they were also at the Overland Expo West this year. But yeah, that's my favorite looking one of those. I know Metal Tech and Lobo make them. JCR has them.
Well, that was at one company in Florida. My friend Ashley Gill, she was like one of the first ones. She has a red 2-door like Evans Bronco.
Yeah. That name sounds familiar. I probably think I've seen her somewhere.
May Pearl.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. She was one of the first stickers I got.
Yeah, she's actually out towards Evans' house more.
I was about to say, yeah, because I thought she was Illinois.
Yeah. But she just got a job out towards Evansville, Indiana, so she'll be 4 hours south of me now.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that the thing I like about the Expedition one is it has that one arm that positions the tire in the center, whereas like JCR, Metal Tech 4x4, and Lobo, or not Lobo, but what's LOD, the one that's down in Indiana, it's not far from Badlands. They have them, but it's like 2 gates, and the tire's more off to the side as opposed to being in the middle where it is from the factory. That's the only thing I don't like about those. If I want to get one, I want to get a single arm that's rested in the center. Actually, I take it back. Metal Tech 4x4, theirs is in the center, but it sets a lot lower. Which, having that dash camera thing, I don't really care whether I can see out the back or not.
I can't see the back of mine.
Yeah, I couldn't see out the back with it before. So, nothing's really changed in that regard.
You put like 3 good sized boxes in the back of these Broncos traveling, you can't see shit anyway, so you need a camera.
That's true.
Matt said, I want a smaller tank in my 2-door to get more clearance and add a second tank where the stock muffler is to make up for it. But they did somebody did a 20-gallon cell in the rear, in the trunk.
Matt did.
Matt.
Huh?
It was Matt Ford that did it?
Yeah, Matt Ford custom built his own aluminum cell tank and raised it up.
So you get the ground. I mean, the main thing for that is you're evening the weight out on a full tank too.
Yeah, he had to he did something on his axle or reposition something on his axle and built that tank. I think he has it on some pictures on Instagram of it.
What's this, Matt Ford?
Yeah, it's a blue 2-door.
Like a baby blue 2-door.
Oh, Rex. Yeah, I've shared a bunch of his stuff. I love his truck. This is awesome. That's the one I saw before.
See if you can pull that up on the screen. Yeah, he's got the rock crawler kit on his.
Yeah, I think he's out of
North
Blue Ridge,
Carolina.
Kentucky.
He's down at Windrock all the time, right?
Yeah.
He's down in Uwharrie a lot too. That's where I see a lot of his photos are.
See if you can pull that on the screen, Jody.
I'm trying to find it right now. All right, here we go. Let me see here.
Dude, I'm super excited. I just found my nut. I was building my son 24 scale crawler, and it fell inside of my keyboard, and I just found it.
All right, here we go.
Oh man.
Yeah, this dude's got a badass build. But yeah, a lot of these are Uwharrie, I think.
Yeah, right there. See where?
There you go.
Yeah. And he snapped an axle tube too. I think he redesigned his whole entire axle.
Yeah, there's something here.
It's not the stock 6th gen axle.
Huh.
It looks.
Well, I've got those Yukon ones in mine. They're not stock in the rear.
Well,
That
see how
big.
his shocks are straight up and down? They're not angled.
Oh, okay, that's what you're saying now. I thought you meant the actual axles.
No, see, stop. Yeah, I don't know if you could pause it right there, but he did drop brackets like how a Jeep has on their axle, so they're mounted vertical. They're not angled.
Yeah, you can definitely tell he did some welding there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because isn't the normal like over in here?
Yeah, and then see right there to the right, where like that rust is, he cut something out of there right there. Yeah.
Huh.
Because I think he early on he bent his frame, like what's his name from Wild Horse?
Oh, Mitch.
Mitch, yeah. But
That's
that's
a 20-gallon fuel cell, right?
he did a different fuel cell, yeah.
Yeah, I think he did a different one. Which one were you talking about, Evan?
That's the one. But there was an in-depth write-up somewhere of him putting in
On the 6G forum.
So here's another video of the fuel cell. Does it say how big it is? I'm assuming it's not as big as the 4-doors.
I think it's 20 gallons.
Oh, well, that's pretty damn big.
Yeah, mine's I think only 17.
Yeah, I don't know how many mine is, but I don't think it's over 20.
Yours is 20 on the dot, right?
What?
Your gas tank?
I thought at first they were 21, but I may be wrong on that. But still, that's pretty damn close, if it is.
Good looking. It's a good looking fuel tank.
20 is better than 14.
Yeah. So he's
And
got,
we got
a,
14.
he's got the same drive shaft I do. Well, shit.
Those
I'll play it.
gallons.
Courtney's interweb searcher says the 4-door is 20.8.
Yeah, because I thought it was close to 21. That's pretty damn close, though. Even if it's just a gallon off, it's still pretty good for one that you mount totally out of the way.
Right. And again, you don't. And when it's full and you're rock crawling, you can feel the weight want to lean more towards that side.
Yeah.
And there you go, Jody. That'll solve your tank rubbing issues.
Oh, I'm sure it would. But his is custom made. His isn't one you all said it wasn't.
No, the guy from Lone Star also did one.
Well, and if you think about it too, you know how the Bronco rear floor has like that hatch that opens and then drops down. I mean, if you wanted to, you could even build it, like cut that completely out and probably gain 3 or 4 more gallons of fuel. You know,
yeah, we're
have like a race tank fuel, like when you're drag racing cars. But
yeah.
if you're building a rock crawling purpose Bronco like this one, you wouldn't care.
Yeah, this guy's got a lot of invested for sure.
Well, and he's done the work himself, which is the cool part.
Yeah, well, that makes it a lot
Doing
cheaper.
that in his driveway.
Yeah, probably makes it a hell of a lot cheaper. I'm on Lone Star Axles, but I don't see theirs. See it on theirs. Maybe it's on their website. Anyway.
But when he posted his, he said that there were no current plans to reproduce it for consumer.
Talking about Lone Star guy?
Yeah.
Oh, well, then that makes it pointless to look at it.
Well, unless you want to see the idea, because his is a 4-door for your sake.
Yeah.
Something he wouldn't make it. He's not going to offer like a mass-produced kit.
Yeah. I just wonder, like, so the 2-door versus the 4-door tank, how much smaller is the 4-door? Is it the same length or is it the same? I'm assuming it'd be shorter.
It's shorter.
But would it mount farther up towards the front of the truck? Because that might negate any benefit of putting it in there if it's still sitting in the back. Because that's where it's hitting.
Well, if it's shorter and mounts in the same spot towards the front of the truck, that should get the tail that you're contacting further away from that angle of the drive shaft.
Yeah, I could do a Bronco and just like smack it a few times with a dead blow hammer and dent it in enough to where it won't hit.
I mean, I'm telling you, if you just put some thick gauge steel on the wall of that,
yeah. Well, at some point the U joint's going to wear out. It's the only thing I'm worried about.
Well, because now you're just on the new drive shaft, you're just rubbing on the actual shaft, right?
No, it's the U joint that's hitting it.
Oh well, then I would do a fuel cell.
Yeah.
Or get your suspension tuned.
I know. That's something I'm going to check on. I just got to wait for the funds to get right.
So I wonder why yours is hitting and mine's not.
Well, mine didn't hit.
Collar kit.
Do what? Yeah. Oh, you did put the rock crawler on yours?
Yeah. So here's the interesting thing. This is what I told Evan. This is what makes it frustrating. Is that when I first put it on, had very little issues. The only thing we had to do is trim the fuel tank skid because the Next Venture Motorsports diff skid was hitting it. So Dutch did that for me when they put it in. Took it to Back Way to Crown King, which is probably the hardest trail here. And, you've seen the video. I was flexing like crazy in that video. Never had an issue. That was a stock drive shaft. No rear sway bar, nothing. On that trail, whenever I busted those 2 rear coilovers, I had the ADS one swapped in. And ever since then, it rubs like hell. And I can't figure out because the coilovers shouldn't make a difference.
Because your coilover spring rates are different. You can get softer ones or firmer ones.
Well, these are firmer. The ones that were on the Radflow were firmer, and the ones that when I had it switched out before I went to the Rubicon, they're firmer because it sets up high in the rear end now, almost too high. And I think they're more of a dual rate. But yeah, I mean, it's just like they don't. Even when I bottom out, they don't like squat down any. So that's why I'm kind of like, I don't know what the hell the deal is.
So mine was rubbing after installing. Mine only rubbed where the diff skid, like the bolts on the diff skid, contact where the new fuel tank skid plate goes. Putting those heavy-duty rear springs on the rear coilovers stiffened up the coilovers so much that they don't contact anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have your coilovers like this, but you have the soft, I'm going to bring it down for the camera. If your springs are soft, they can allow the axle to still do this even with the sway bar on there, right?
Yeah.
Because it's moving as one whole piece. So when yours is flexing out down like this, it can also shift this way just enough to make your drive shaft right over here on your fuel tank. But if your springs are so stiff that they can't have the wiggle room to do that, you're not going to have that problem.
Yeah, it forces it to drop down.
Instead of allowing it to shift laterally.
Right.
It's not like the 4-link kit. That's not something the track bar would fix either. That's something that has to do with how much wiggle room that your specific coils on your coilovers allow your axle to have. So if they tuned your shocks for your setup, they're going to cycle it through a whole bunch of times. You're going to test it. They're going to see how it moves. And then because ADS will tune them for you.
Well, not they installed down there. They don't have a tuning because they had to set it off to get aligned.
Well, that alignment's not tuning though.
I know, but I walked in the garage and they took me. I walked back there. All they had was a few lifts. They didn't have any like special equipment or anything back there to do any of that shit with.
So I could have BDS a custom dial yours in for your rig, but so
you can get them custom ordered.
Yeah, they'll give you different spring rates and different stuff like that based on what you have.
I thought ADS, like if they're installing them on your rig, they'll take them and run them out and then cycle them through on the forklift to make sure nothing contacts and adjust accordingly.
If they did, I don't know about it because, like I said, I don't think they did mine because initially they had the dual coil system, but they said that because of they had a weight in mind, that's why they switched it to a single coil, which it does not rub near as bad since they did that. So, whereas the dual coils in the back, that's more for like desert racing, stuff like that. I think if I had to do it all over again, I'd probably just spent more money and did the Dana front and rear, 32 splines in the front, and Dana 60 in the back and call it a day.
Why?
That or just left the track bar on it.
What's the Dana 60 going to do?
I don't know. Make it stronger.
No. Your axle with your shafts in it are just as strong as that Dana 60 will ever be. Because it's truss. So the M220 truss is just as strong as the Ultimate 60 for the Bronco. It's still a semi-float rear axle.
I saw where some people in the forums, they were talking about the ones that have had the same issues I have. They got brackets they can buy for the upper trailing arms to make it go back to basically a stock 4-link type configuration. The only problem is when they took mine off without me telling them to, they cut off that bracket where the track bar mounts behind the axle off the frame.
I cut mine off. I'll never go back.
Because I was like, well, if I ever want to go back, I have the option now unless I try to somehow I can find one of those brackets because I looked at Ford and they don't sell them. So I guess I'd have to find one off a junkyard and have somebody out there and grind it off with a angle grinder or something. If I wanted to go that route, but I don't know.
There's no reason.
I want to see how much it costs to get the springs or shocks tuned. Talk to SDHQ and somebody like that, and if it's not like an insane amount of money, we'll try that route.
I don't know.
You've been watching Affirm for 0%, haven't you?
I'm about firmed out.
I'm not even firm anymore. I'm 44.
Maybe you just need ORIs in the back, Jody.
What's that?
Maybe you just need some ORIs in the back.
It's ORIs.
ORI strut. Google it.
ORIs.
So easy to spend other people's money. You know that?
Especially in this group.
ORI strut. Stability you can bank on.
And it's the most tunable.
We'll see. Maybe they'll tell me that, oh, well, you need to put stiffer springs on it. Well, okay, well, we'll just do that. Like I said, the Radflows, they had the dual springs, but the smaller one was 14 inches and the top one was like a 3 or 4 inch. Now the smaller one, the top one was what came with it, which was like 350, I think, or something. But the bottom one, I had actually performance throw on some 600-pound rate springs on it. And it did pretty good. It would keep the ride height up. That's the main reason why I wanted to do it. But the one I have now, I think it's a dual rate spring because it's definitely jacked up a lot higher, but it does not flex near as much. So now the ones when it was a dual springs ADS where both the top and lower were the same size, it would bounce a lot more.
Correct.
It was definitely built more for like high speed.
I think I'm gonna probably see mine tested this weekend. Like I've done Pumpkin Hollow and stuff with it, and it walked over all of that stuff with the rooftop, and it wasn't a problem. But I have a lot of top end weight, so
yeah,
like I don't have any real intentions of not having the rooftop tent. It's good content for me, and I enjoy using it.
Well, if you come out to Colorado, especially you get on some of those off-camber trails, you have to be very careful about that high weight.
Mm-hmm.
I think you'd be all right, especially with those aftermarket shocks, as long as you just didn't be totally oblivious to what you were doing. I think you'd be okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty cautious when I wheel because I know I have extra weight.
Yeah.
I might not
Black
take
bears
the-
are really the only one that's catastrophic. That's only the shelves there at the top before you go down.
Yeah.
The switchbacks are nerve wracking just because it's such a steep drop off. But as they top those 2 steps, if you don't angle your truck right and pick your line right, you can definitely flip it over, if you aren't paying attention to what you're doing. So
Yeah.
I always suggest people have a spotter, either that or I've done it before. I think I can do it without a spotter, but it's because I remember what I did last time. I would go high and then cut hard left as soon as both front tires are down, start cutting back passenger, like zigzagging almost, like shoot, shoot, shoot. Whereas some people just drive straight over it, which if you don't have anything on your roof, you'd probably be all right as long as you're not like going too fast or as long as you're not jabbing your brakes. But I've never seen a Bronco roll there. I've seen plenty of FJs and 4Runners rolling it though, maybe a Jeep or so. But it's been mostly like FJs and 4Runners because of the weight distribution. I think they're narrow track and higher. They're top heavier, even without that shit on it. So anyway, guys, we're an hour and a half in. I'm about ready to go to bed. So you guys got anything you want to chit chat about real quick before we head out?
No.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll have Derek and Monica back with us next time, and we can talk to them, see how their SEMA experience went, considering they were in it. I'm sure they got a lot of good stories to tell and a lot of feedback for folks that want to hear. I know they also got some videos coming out. Evan just released his Rubicon videos, so definitely go watch those. Milton, what videos you got out or recently, or in fact, or got coming?
I got Turkey Bay coming. I'm gonna shoot some content this weekend. I haven't really been. I don't have anything really entertaining. I'll let Evan have the this month for entertainment. Those videos were killer, man. You should feel proud of those. Those were
about to say, give credit where credit's due.
Videos. The first gen I watched a couple of times. The 6th gen stuff. The content was beautiful. I mean, great job, guys.
All I did was drive.
That looked exhausting.
She's working right now. She never stopped working. That was all her.
Yeah,
definitely did
high-end stuff. Good job.
Yeah. Well, for me, I've got my Rubicon videos probably coming out here for too long. Just got my Adams Drive shaft, which is a short little video. It'll be out tomorrow. And of course, we just did the SEMA video, which is not very short or not very long since it's only one day. But we got a couple other knick-knack stuff here coming soon, mostly installs. But we'll start hitting the trails this coming weekend with the Arizona peeps, and we'll have some more of that stuff coming.
Yeah, I have a custom steering wheel coming, so I'll post that one soon, and I just have a diesel heater coming and maybe an exhaust. I'm going to be switching out the MBRP to a thermal R&D because I smashed my MBRP. So just sponsored content stuff, and then Turkey Bay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Anybody got anything to say before we shut out? All right, everybody. Thank y'all for watching. Catch us in 2 weeks. We'll be back.
Have a good one.
Peace.